Happy holidays, y'all. It's your boy QdAbArBeR, and you are rocking out with Cutting Up with QdAbArBeR. Go ahead and sing you to the intro. As soon as we get back from the intro, we will be talking about Volume 4, which is a story time. My homelessness story time. My homelessness story time. Check out the intro and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, thank you for checking me out again. We've made it to our fourth installment. Today we're going to have a story time. If you don't know where you are at my segment called Cutting Up with QdAbArBeR. We are on Volume 4. Volume 4's title is My Homelessness Story. So I wanted to go ahead and just jump right into it. Clearly, those of you guys that have been following me for some time now, y'all know a little bit about me. I've talked through Volume 1, 2, and 3 about me, about my DOC, about my MAT program and procedure. So now I wanted to take the time in the next couple segments and kind of just go a little bit more personal into certain things and aspects in life and what I've been through and different things of that nature. I figured what better way to start than to go ahead and open up with talking a little bit about my situation with when I was homeless. So just to give you guys a brief backing, it's currently 2021. We're almost at the end of the year. Happy holidays, by the way, if I didn't already say so. I do believe that Christmas is literally like a week away, I think. Yeah, Christmas is like a week away, y'all. So literally, like, it's right around the corner. I always dread this time of year because it's like everything comes back to back to back to back to back. I got 3 birthdays in January, and one of my newer, really good friends' birthday is in January as well. So that'll be 4 birthdays now that I have to be accountable for. But I definitely can't leave her out of the loop because she's been awesome. So, but yeah. So getting back on the topic of homelessness. So, I've been fortunate not to have to be homeless for a very, very, very long time, like some addicts and or some people that are down on their luck um, have been their own on their own. But I feel like the time that I was homeless, it was really, really, really bad. So, of course, what tailed in me being homeless, and sorry for the pauses, I'm trying to get comfortable. I'm trying to sit down and get myself situated so I can talk to you guys consistently without moving around and stuff. Um, but yeah, so like I said, of course, my homelessness came primarily from drug use. For those of you guys that don't know, my drug of choice was um, opiates. I started off with pain pills, which inevitably ended up being switched over to heroin or H, and then ultimately being end result of fentanyl, or what they have in fentanyl cut up in certain areas now. Before I got clean and before I went down this road of sobriety that I've been on for the last 7 going on 8 years now. Um, so, mind you guys, I had been using for like 23 years. I'd been fine. I always had a job. This was my first this was a time right after my first marriage went to shit. So my marriage went to shit. It was clearly because of the drug use. I mean, I can openly, honestly admit that. I'm a great person, great guy. Worked, always worked. So looking at the situation, you can't put it on anything else but you can't put it on anything else but the fact that I was doing hardcore drugs on a daily basis. Um, I ended up leaving the house, so I was given an ultimatum. My ultimatum was either let the drugs go or leave. I had a daughter that, was just being born at the time. And unfortunately, although being this great guy that I was, taking care of the household, like I said, I wasn't broke, I wasn't out here hurting for anything. I literally went from being the guy that was making upper five figures, almost six figures, to being the guy that literally had nowhere to lay my head at. And I thought that it was amazing how quickly people turn their back on you. So you hold people down for so long. You look out for people so many times. I can recall several times where I had known people, customers, because those of you guys that don't know, I'm a licensed hair professional. So At the time, I was working inside of a shop I owned, and I was running and managing it. I knew people that were out there in the streets, were out there using just like myself, but the difference was they were actively homeless. They didn't have anywhere to go. It would be times where I would let them come in. So I was for sure that I would always have a fallback, something that I could always rely on, somebody that I could always call or count on. I would always be able to hit someone up for a favor type thing. And it literally took me, honestly, it literally took me getting out in the streets and not having a place to go to really see the true signs of what the typical American person is really like. And it's really, really sad because you get really good people, really open and honest people like myself that will give the shirts off of their back, regardless on what the struggle is that an individual is going through. But then you also have those individuals that believe in what you call tough love, and they don't know how to give tough love, so they give it the way that they feel like they were taught or that it was given to them, as opposed to giving it the proper way. um, so basically the way that it works is, I currently reside in Central Virginia. um, all the rest of my family is in Central Florida. So the only family that I have, the only immediate family that I have to reach out to in times of disaster and chaos is my maternal grandmother, whom is still living, very healthy, still working 2 jobs. She's very wealthy and stable and lives in a very, very, very nice suburb house. Mind you, when I say nice suburb house, it's one of her. She's divorced from my real grandfather, not my stepfather, not my step grandfather, but my real grandfather. So, um, with that being said, the house that she lives in is purchased, is paid for, just pays taxes on the house. But this is the big key to it. And like I said, with the whole tough love and giving it how it was given to you, my grandmother currently resides in a 5 bedroom house, 3.5 bath, an office slash computer room, which technically can be counted as a 6 bedroom. Um, the office space is big enough to be a 6 bedroom. So it's technically 2 rooms, or the master room, a spare room in the office on one side of the house. Then there's two, or then there's one double room, which is like 2 rooms and a bathroom that splits, or a half bath that splits. And then there's the bathroom in the back side of the house, or as well, full size bath in the back side of the house with the full size room. So technically, like I said, 6 rooms, 3.5 bath, um, and only her. a lot of people would go, "You're a great guy, Q," or "You've worked all your life, you just end up hitting rock bottom," or, "You got into the wrong situation and, trying to find your way out," and different things of that nature. What happened? What's the deal? Why are you homeless? Because there's clearly a place that you should be able to go. And that's kind of where my story gets super interesting, because you would think that it would be just that easy just to show up at the doorstep and know that I have practically a whole half of a house at my grandmother's house, basically, to myself. Prior to being married, um, prior to me being married, I had access to my grandmother's house. I had the keys to the house, or the spare keys to the house. I had keys to all three of her vehicles. Um, and it was lovely. If I ever got into a confrontation with a girlfriend, or if I ever wanted to get away from where I was staying, by myself before I got into a relationship, or even if I wanted to get away from my, first marriage or whatnot, and just wanted to take some time apart, I had a place to go. This was all pre-drug, before the drug. Where it fell apart and where it got super interesting and super hard was when I got married, and that should have been a red flag to, I guess, kind of prevent me to even going down this path in the first place. The very first individual that I married for the first time, I won't tell her name or say her name because I'm just not that type of person. But what I will say is, my mom didn't want me to marry her. I married her again against my mom's will. My grandmother didn't want me to marry her. I married her against my grandmother's will. About 80%, I'll be fair, about 80% of my family in Florida didn't want me to marry her. And about 80% of them did not show up to the wedding that was in Central Virginia because they did not want me to marry her. There were quite a few red flags that, I guess, because they realized they didn't see her as a good fit for me because I was a giving individual, and she was the individual that would be accepting, but she didn't want to match the energy to give. Um, she's also an individual that is very, very easily influenced by other family members. She's an individual that um, grew up with, she's an individual that grew up with a household full of people. And still to this day, even though we are divorced and I've moved on and now I've remarried, I can still say that although I've had a blessing of having a daughter inside of wedlock with that individual, she's still a individual that, as a grown woman, still lives with a household full of people, full of family. There's nothing wrong with it when you do it right, but when it doesn't have good intentions, it can go horribly wrong. And that's where my addiction started. It ended up going horribly wrong, and I gave an ultimatum that she would have to pick the family or me, and she made a smart decision. She didn't answer it, so she didn't pick her family or she didn't pick me at all. So I made the decision for her. Set the keys on the table, left everything. Left everything. The keys, the house, the cars, left everything. Didn't have nowhere to go at the time because, mind you, didn't know that I wasn't going to be able to go to the grandmother's house. Hadn't found that out yet. First stop, grandma's house. Try that key. Key don't work. Call grandmother. Grandma don't answer. Stuck outside. Calling friends. They can't do this, or they don't have the space, or they can't, it's a bad time for them, or they're going through situations. Cool. I'm not a person that's going to beg. At this time, I had already started with the drug use because, of course, the stressing environment that I was in previously. Um, so you find yourself in a situation that you have a few dollars on you, um, and you have a phone that's paid, you have no vehicle because you left everything there, and you know that you're a bright individual, but you also know that you're addicted to a drug. Do you take your money that you do have on you and invest it into somewhere to stay temporarily until you figure out a solution? Or do you invest it into drugs that you know that you're going to need? Clearly wanted to numb the pain, so I chose the second option. I invested my money into drugs and I was completely homeless. And it's really weird because every time that I thought that I would get a break or that I was getting ready to get a break, it would backfire on me. The very first 2 weeks that I was out in the streets, I had one duffel bag or like a military sack kind of sorta. I had one duffel bag full of clothes and the shoes that were on my feet, and I had a pair of slides. So the first 2 weeks that I was homeless, I literally stayed in a 24-hour laundromat. And it was super convenient because the laundromat was literally like 2 streets over and maybe like 100 feet from the shop. So I maybe had to walk like 3 blocks every day to get to work. And I would literally stay at the barbershop so late at night until when I eventually closed, I would literally leave from the barbershop and go straight to the laundromat. And the thing that I liked about the laundromat was that laundromat was so slow during the week But the issue was they would be so busy, jam packed in the middle of the night on the weekends, and especially on like Sundays and Saturdays were like the worst days at the laundromat because people would be there in the middle of the morning and you would have to be walking around the laundromat acting like you work there so you're not just getting called the police on you for loitering and different things like that. And it just found it to start kind of being a little degrading, like to have to find yourself sleeping, sitting up because you don't want to look like you're asleep. You got both your hands propped up on your face, sitting at the table at the laundromat. Every 30 minutes or so, you would get up and straighten out the baskets and close the doors to make it look like you were being productive, almost like you was overseeing or you were like a laundromat attendant for night or something of that nature. That's what I would do to prevent the police from being called from the people that would show up just randomly. But to know that every morning I was having to go into the bathroom at the laundromat where people had went in there, tore up all the toilet paper, and or some kid might have blew it up in there, or even adults. Adults would come in there and completely degrade the bathroom. And then knowing this is the same bathroom sink that I was having to wash up in, same bathroom that I was having to brush my teeth in, still trying to have some sanity. But also, with all of that being said, this was the same bathroom that I would go in to use my drugs as soon as I got there at nighttime. As soon as I woke up there in the morning time, I had to have my fix at night. I had to have my fix in the morning. And it was really, really crazy. Like I said, for the first 2 weeks, it went from bad to manageable to horrible. I think, like I said, 2 weeks in, I think I got to the 16th day at the laundromat, and I think I had been really, really stressed out because it was a bad weekend at the barbershop. It was a slow weekend at the barbershop. And that was one of my moments where I could honestly say that I feel like I came close to ODing. It was a new product that was on the street, and I wanted it, and I wanted a lot of it, and I took practically all of my money that was made, not saving money like the typical person would do, or not like the normal thinking and stable person would do to try to get back on my feet or get my own place or whatever. I was fine. I was staying in the laundromat. I was good. I was out of the rain. I was out of the cold because at this time it was right around Octoberish, so um, Thanksgiving hadn't come yet, Christmas hadn't come yet, but it was getting very cold. Um, but I was away from the elements, so I was okay. Um, I found myself nodding out really, really, really bad. And I had been in the bathroom. I would typically be able to manage my time very well. and apparently there was someone that came into the laundromat and noticed somebody was in the bathroom. They were making a lot of noise. Long story short, police got called, and I got probably one of the biggest breaks in my life. I did not get locked up that night, but the police did tell me that, hey, you gotta leave. You cannot stay in the laundromat. So they have cameras in the laundromat. They were like, if we tell the owner that you're here, I'm sure that they can go back and go play the cameras and realize that you're here at the same time all the time. That's not going to fly. Then you're going to get trespassed. Then you are going to get locked up. So they did me a favor by saying, hey, we don't know where you're going to go, but you can't go here. Um, and I really broke down because I wasn't in my right mind to think about what to do. But I was stable enough, I was just enough sober to know don't talk, don't say anything. Because if I slur my words or if I nod out in front of the police, I'm done for. I may as well go ahead and put my hands behind my back because I'm going to jail. I'm gonna get a controlled substance charge. I just shut up, I grabbed my stuff, and I went hiking. Um, from that moment, it's kind of like I did a roller coaster. I literally walked around my town that whole night. The very, very next day at work at the barbershop, I never forget it because I was falling asleep all day long because I'd been up walking. And of course, I was still using my drugs. I'd had more drugs than I typically had because I was already going through it. And mind you, that was a powerful drug. I was using more, so it was not very good at all. Um, had a friend come by the barbershop out of the blue, out of nowhere. What made me tell him my story? I have no clue. But like I told you in the beginning, it's amazing how things work. And I try my hardest not to kind of get emotional about it because although this was one of the people that potentially almost jump started the change in me, the rehabilitation in me, still to this day, I can't thank this person because he's no longer with us. He's buried, he's in the ground from my overdose, from the same drug that we were doing. He's in the ground now, and I can't even thank him for saying, hey, thank you for allowing me to come when I didn't have a place to go. He literally, this guy was staying with his mom. His mom was staying upstairs, and they had a full downstairs basement that had 2 rooms and a full bathroom, had a full kitchen and everything. So it was almost like I guess like a duplex or like a upstairs downstairs house in a sense. One of the older model brick houses, but it was really nice. It was upstairs, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms downstairs, but the downstairs was a basement. He stayed downstairs by himself. He was a bachelor. Um, But the catch was I went through the back. I was too ashamed to let his mom know what was going on. I don't think he really wanted to get his mom involved. So I would always go through the back. I would always, as soon as I got off, I would always walk to his house, knock on the door. If he didn't hear it, I'll call him until he answered. And it was still parts about me that I felt super ashamed. Like I would find myself doing things like instead of sleeping in the spare bed, like I would just lay down on the couch or, things like that. Or I would just sit up, and kind of just doze off from time to time. Still using. And like I said, it was a blessing and it was a curse because although I had a place to go now out of the blue, out of nowhere, I was also using even more because now, in turn or in return for shelter, I was covering his habit and I was covering my habit. And I thought that that was only fair because I could still be out technically in the cold or running the risk of going back to the laundromat and getting caught up by the police. Like I said, pardon me, it's tough to talk about, but 28 days, 28 days I stayed at his house and he didn't make it to the 29th morning. I got to his house just like I did any other night. He was already downstairs, so I'm sure his mom had no clue of what was going on until in the morning. Um, I called his phone, no answer. Knocked on his window, no answer. Called his phone, no answer. Knocked on his window, no answer. Sat outside, called him again. I finally gave up. That night, I walked just like I did the same night in the laundromat when the police came. Very next day, I think I made it to work and I got to work maybe 30 minutes before everybody. I'd been up walking all night long, completely tired, high out of my mind. I maybe was at work for like 32, 33 minutes. I just finished brushing my teeth in the sink at the barbershop, and I got a phone call that was one of the most dreadfulest phone calls that I had ever received. It was a phone call from his phone, And I initially answered and said, "Bro, what happened to you last night? What happened, man?" I was calling and calling and calling. I was like, "Bro, I ended up staying outside this, that, and I'm just talking, going, not even waiting on him to respond or anything." I was like, "Man, I was outside all night long." I was like, "I knocked on your window like 7 times. I called you like 5 times. I sat outside for like 30 minutes, almost 45 minutes." I was like, I sat outside, did my bag. I was like, I was waiting and I started nodding off or whatnot. So I called you again. You still didn't respond. So I was like, forget it, man. I needed to walk it off because I was going to end up going to sleep outside. And I didn't want to do that. I got quiet because I noticed he wasn't responding. I said, hello. His mom was on the phone. The shame and the hurt that I feel still to this day. Now she knows what he did. She knows that he was using. She was not in agreement with it, but at the end of the day, she was one of those moms that was like, hey, regardless on whether you're grown, regardless on whether you're a kid, if you're gonna use, if you're gonna do anything, regardless on what it is, do it while you are at home so I know that you are at home. Do not go out there and use and or do anything outside of this house, regardless on whether you are 3 or 33. And he agreed to that practically his whole life. He had never moved out because of the way that the home was. Like I said, he was a grown ass man. And she told me that she went downstairs to go wake him up. And when she shook him, he didn't respond. She tried to push him. He didn't respond. She finally rolled the body over and she found a half an empty sandwich bag and probably about a gram and a half of H substance scattered on his bed up underneath him. So clearly it was an overdose. And I hung up. I was so ashamed. I hung up. I did not know what else to say and or what else to do. Back to square one. Now I've lost literally my best friend. Sorry. Now I've lost literally my best friend. I'm back homeless again. It's right in the beginning of December. It's cold as shit. We don't have in the place that I stay, in the town or city that I stay, we don't have a shelter. It's not a big enough city that has a shelter. So back to square one. At the barbershop, I definitely can't cut. I'm getting stupid high out of my mind. I kid you not, every 10, 15 minutes, it felt like I was going in the bathroom to go take a hit, in the bathroom to go take a hit, outside around the shop in the back to go take a hit. It started snowing, so I canceled the outside, stayed in the barbershop, take a hit. Then I nodded out in the bathroom. Was in the bathroom. I think two kids came to the bathroom, knocked on the bathroom door, needed to go to the bathroom. One of the kids almost used the bathroom on himself. I finally came out, let him in the bathroom. I explained to him, hey, look, I'm not right now because my homie just passed away. In all actuality, it was that, but I was just stupid high. But it was that my homie just passed away too. Tried calling grandma, left a message because I clearly knew she wasn't gonna let me stay because she had so much animosity built up because I went against her will. That's her thing. If you don't listen to her, there is no second chances. And I already knew that. I understood that. So it was pointless to try until I knew that she was ready or until she felt like she got her point across. Left her a message, told her what was going on, told her what had been going on, told her my situation, told her how long I'd been dealing with the situation. It took her a minute, but that night, I think about a quarter to nine, a quarter to 10, I was walking around the park. She called me. She asked where I was at. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be my opportunity to get in the house because it was cold and it was snowing. Told her I'm in the park. She said, can you make it to the house? I said, um, I probably can, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm stupid high, so in all actuality, the house was almost a mile from the park. I wasn't gonna be able to make it that far, as high as I was. She said, okay, how far can you make it? I think I ended up staying on the phone with her. I got to like the corner store, which was maybe a quarter of a mile, and I was slipping and falling. And like I said, I was out of it. I was dancing and almost went in the street, and I was tripping. I think when she pulled up at the store, thank God she has a four-wheel drive. So when she pulled up at the store, she saw me and she was like, You have no clue where you are, do you? And I do remember this part. My response to that was, "Do you want me to answer that honestly?" She goes, "I don't know. You can give it a shot." I said, "I know I feel like I'm at Disneyland, but right now I know I'm probably closest to hell as I'm gonna get." She said, "That's probably about the closest thing to sane that I've ever heard you say." I got in the truck and immediately I started crying. I already knew what was going to happen. At that point, I didn't care. I didn't care about being tough. I didn't care about nothing. I knew that I had 3/4 of a mile to get my point across from that store to her house to tell her why I feel like she should let me back in the house. Why I feel like she should, you know what I'm saying, take me back in, let me get back on my feet. I don't cuss very much at all, but what I will say is that shit didn't work. Negative. You can cancel that. Did all that talking, all that pleading, all that begging for nothing. Pulled up. Well, I take that back. I won't say for nothing. Pulled up at the house in the driveway. She's like, "So look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm still mad. You didn't listen." She said, "But I do realize that you out here in the streets. I do realize that you're out here using. You not dead, but you damn near close to it." She said, "I can only show you and let you feel what being closer to death really is. I'm gonna go in the house. You are more than welcome to stay out here in the truck. I will bring you a blanket, but that's about all I can do is just make sure that you have a blanket so you don't freeze to death." She goes, "I'll even bring you 2 blankets just to make sure you don't freeze to death because it's snowing out here. And I will let you sleep inside the truck." I did not say anything. She went in the house. She came back to the door. I got out the truck. I grabbed the 2 blankets. I walked back down to the truck and I stayed outside that night inside the truck in 14 inches of snow with it being 17 degrees outside, and I slept inside the SUV with 2 blankets. It's really amazing the things things that people take for granted. And I really feel like while I sat there that night trying to take as much drugs as I could without overdosing and without killing myself and without getting to the point to where I got so dumb high that I didn't know what I did with my bag and or potentially spilled some of my drugs out or anything of that nature, because I've been that high before to where I accidentally spilled my bag over or dropped my product or whatever the case may be. And that sucks because it's a waste of money and you be pissed off. But I knew that it was bad because I recall going to sleep inside that truck and I don't remember anything from that night. But what I do remember is that morning I got tapped on the shoulder. And when I opened my eyes, I was laying in the snow with both the blankets on top of me. And I had made a snow angel outside and nodded off from the drugs and fell asleep in the snow making a snow angel and got cold and put the blankets on top of me and never got back in the truck and or brushed the snow off. I was soaking wet from the snow. I was freezing. Laying in the snow. I got 3 taps on my chest that morning. I opened my eyes and she was standing over top of me and she goes, "Really?" At that point, I knew that I had been doing the drugs for way too long. I had become way too useless. I had become way too unpredictable. I did not know how to control myself high anymore because I was getting to the point to where I was using more than what I would normally use. So it was almost like I was trying to kill myself to go there with my best friend wherever he may lay, or trying to substitute and subsidize the pain. That morning, I did end up going to the laundromat. She did drop me off at the laundromat. I did manage to have a few coins. My money was running thin, clearly, because I had been spending way much more money on drugs. Shop was closed that day because of the snow. Did manage to go to the laundromat and get myself warm, as well as get my clothes dry, get the blankets dry. What I will say is, just like I said in the beginning, when you reach the lowest points of your life, it's always like you get tried to the point of no return, and then you get thrown a bait, or then you get thrown a chance to get it right. I was sitting in the laundromat that same day. Hadn't talked to my grandmother since she dropped me off. I think I had about $20, $30 in my pocket or so. I think I also had about a little bit over a gram of dope left. Um, I did manage to get in touch with my grandmother, and I put on my best con man that I could. I told her that I couldn't stay outside again. I felt like I was gonna die. I told her that I was ready to get clean. I asked her to give me a hotel just to get me through the weekend. It was a Thursday, so the barbershop was gonna open back up Friday, Saturday. We were just closed for that Thursday because of the snow. It had stopped snowing. Um, Long story short, she did agree. She paid for a hotel for 3 nights up front. The agreement was if she got the hotel up front, she made me sign a contract that said that I would go to rehab and to detox that Monday morning after the weekend was up. Me being a very, very active drug addict whom tried my hardest not to be manipulative, but also was in Homelessness and survival mode. I signed and agreed to everything she wanted me to. Quick, fast, and in a heartbeat. Just to get out of the cold. I didn't look over nothing twice. I didn't think about nothing twice. I did it just to get out of the cold. That's it. That's all. Went to the shop that weekend. Did pretty good. I remember Saturday she dropped me off at the hotel after work. Across the street from the hotel was McDonald's. I did well that weekend just because it snowed. It was Christmas. Christmas weekend. Shop jump. Supposed to take this money, get myself together. Getting ready to go to rehab. Supposed to be getting ready to go to rehab. The Monday after Christmas. That was a negative. I bought up $21 of McDonald's, all in chicken nuggets and triple cheeseburgers. Just so that way I'll have as much food as I can get. Just in case I didn't eat, I would have food that lasted for a little while. Yeah, I think I had like three. If I if I remember correctly, I think my exact order was like three 20-piece chicken nuggets, and it was like four double cheeseburgers or something like that. I ordered a lot of food for like $21. And I solely did it because every bit of my rest of my money I put towards a whole 8 ball of H. Now, mind you, this ain't the regular H. This is the stuff that had been knocking my socks off. This is the super H. This is the F. This is the Fetty. This is the fentanyl that people call it. And I had been going really, really, really wild with it. Of course, I'm enjoying myself because I'm in the heat. I'm high. I'm out the element. I'm out the elements. Couldn't tell me nothing. I was on top of the world. broke, homeless, and high out of my mind. Monday morning came around. Checkout came around. That dreadful morning phone call from the grandma with the contract in hand came around. And I kid you not, it was like running from the police. I ignored her phone call. All 11 times she tried to call me. She went to the hotel. I was gone. I was gone. I had a whole bag of dope. I was gone. I was feeling good. Hotel was roughly about 5 miles from the barbershop. Now, I would be lying if I sat here and said I walked all of them 5 miles to that barbershop. I would be telling a lie because I damn sure didn't. But I would be being completely honest to tell you, out of those 5 miles, I definitely walked high for 3 of them until what I thought was going to be my first customer that Monday stopped, asked me, or they knew me, stopped, blew the horn, asked me was I okay, because I was walking in and out of the road, and like I said, the snow had stopped, it was melting. It was sunny that day. It was cold, but the snow was melting because it was sunny. Stopped, asked me was I okay. Knew I had a problem because they could tell I was walking in the middle of the street. I was swaying back and forth. I was on zombie mode is what a lot of people call it. And I had my bag. I was just hiking in my own little world. So they asked me whether I cutting. I said, yeah, I'm cutting hair, man. I'm cutting hair. I get you right. I get you tight. I'm trying to tell them anything just so I can get in the car. I can't feel my feet. My toes is tingling. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I'm about to get this money on this Monday. Dang no, shit. I'm about to get them the best, worst haircut they'd ever had in their life. It's embarrassing to talk about stuff like this, but especially now with being as passionate with my craft as I am. But I definitely think that it's something that needs to be said and talked about. Now, this person gives me a ride. Get to the shop. I swear I dozed off like 7 times just in the little 2.5 miles that we drove in the car. They saw. They was like, all right, so what we gonna do is we gonna drop you off and we gonna go down the street and go get the money from the ATM and then we'll be back. Guess what? They didn't come back. They took off. That was the smartest thing that they could ever do. Smartest thing they ever could have did. I think I failed trying to walk into the shop. I pulled a Maddie Owens and I failed trying to get into the barbershop. That's how high I was. And as I sat there the whole day, back on my same thing that I was for days now, I was like, what am I going to do? I'm out of options. I've exhausted grandmother. I exhausted the best friend. What am I going to do? Here's that bait that I was talking about. Am I proud of it? No, not at all. But once again, it's something that I don't mind talking about. Managed to get 2 customers that Monday. 2. The very first customer I got was a female. She was a gullible chick. She was nice. She was kind of heavy set. Um, she was a little younger, but she was of age. So cool. Second one I got was one of the homeboys, and I knew that I was gonna have to end up cutting his hair, so I tried to make sure that I was somewhat sober to make sure, or at least I was conscious to make sure that I could get through his haircut without being too blind to the world. I did not want to mess up his haircut, so I had to make sure that I wasn't going back and forth to the bathroom every 15, 20 minutes. So, but here's the bait. The very first customer that I had, it was really interesting how it happened. As I'm cutting the lady's undercut, we start talking. Notice that we have a bunch of stuff in common. This, that, and the third. I have no clue how our conversation went from liking the same music and picking 4 out of the 5 same top bands that we listen to and picking the favorite 2 top genres of music. Our conversation went from music and having common interest in music to what is your relationship status? response to that was, well, I am legally separated. I am single, been ready to mingle. I am stable, ready to come in and spoil the shit out of whoever would have me, take me in, and love me just as hard as I love them. She smiled. As soon as she smiled, as soon as she blushed, in my mind, the first thing that went through my head, in my mind, this is the mind of a homeless individual at the present moment. This is the mind of a very, very, very hardcore dope addict at the moment. This is the mind of a person that is in dire desperation at the moment. In my mind, I said, got her. I got her. Don't know how. I have no clue other than knowing that it was the grace of God, how I went from not having a place to stay that very night or that day, knowing in my mind I was not going to have a place to stay, to ending up at her house, at her apartment, ending up at her apartment in the same bed with her. The very next day I wake up and now she's my girlfriend. We don't know anything about each other. I'm a whole boyfriend to a chick that I barely know, but we have amazing sex that I don't even remember, but I only listened to what she said, and she wouldn't stop talking about it, and how I did this and how I did that, and how she never had this and how she never had that, and how, oh my God, she's never gonna let me go. Like, she was stuck. And in my mind, I was like, yes, now I have somewhere to stay. Great, perfect. I was not thinking about none of that shit that I said. None of the stuff. Not the spoiling, not the stableness, nothing. I was thinking about, shit, I gotta get up and get in this bathroom and hit this dope so I can get the hell up and get my day started. I gotta unpack my bag and get my shit situated up in here because this about to be my spot. That's what was going through my mind. We lasted 3 weeks and 4 days. Out of those 3 weeks and 4 days, we had sex 26 times. 26 times. That's on average more than once a day. Just by the way. 26 times in a 3.5 week span. Did Christmas, met her mom. She told her mom I was her life. I was the love of her life. This, that, and the third. I felt horrible. I mean, horrible. Because in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not. But I definitely have a place to stay tonight. Met her brother. Worst decision ever. Come to find out, her brother was ultimately going to be my new drug dealer and my last drug dealer before I did get clean. Um, she ended up paying for a trip for us to go to New York, Times Square, for New Year's. I did get an opportunity. We stopped in Philadelphia. New Year's was my last. Everybody has a New Year's resolution. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I got a kid, this, that, and the third. I've been doing dope for over 23 years now. Like, I gotta get it together. Okay. I got this chick that loves me to death, but I know that it's not gonna work. It's not. So, just like most people would do, I knew that I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. I knew it. I was having too many close calls, too many life-saving moments. It was time. It was definitely time. When you have to look and know that you only got 56 cents in your pocket and you would rather spend that 56 cents on drugs than to save that 56 cents to go with another 56 cents to go with another 56 cents to put it together to get some food or to maybe get a hotel to get a place to stay or to get something that you need hygiene wise, you know that you need some help. So ended up doing New Year's. On the way back from New Year's, we stopped in a place called Kensington. I ended up getting 4 bundles from Kensington, Philadelphia, or right outside of Philadelphia. Those of you that don't know, Kensington is an open air drug market. Literally, they do drugs on the street, right there in the open. They don't care. Got 4 bundles. She didn't know that her brother sold. She didn't know that I used. I hid that from her. She just knew that I was a barber. I was a really good barber. I worked very long hours. I cut a lot of hair and I was always tired. The substitute for being tired was I was always high, but she did not know that because I swore up and down, I don't do drugs. This I knew it wasn't going to work. New Year's resolution was to tell the truth, come clean after I got through my 4 bundles. Well, I did not have to worry about coming clean because she ended up finding out. So, we got back to Virginia. She ended up going back to work. I ended up going back to work that very night. She picked me up from work and we got back to the house. We were eating. Her brother came over Her mom came over. She had like a big dinner planned for like that weekend, which this was like the first weekend of the new year. So, man, I'm good. I got buku dope. Remember, I got 4 bundles. So, I'm only doing like a bundle a week. So, I'm doing good. Just stupid high all the time. After that dinner, very next morning, her brother goes to Walmart. He ends up getting locked up because he sold to an undercover police officer. They got him in the Walmart parking lot. Boom, she gets a call from her mom. Her mom tells her everything that he was selling. She's distraught. I'm kirking out because I'm like, shit, if I run out of dope, then that's my new dealer. So he's locked up. So now I got to go back to my other people, or I just have to hope that this lasts. My birthday comes on, which is January the 18th. She had to work on my birthday. I said, cool. She said, do you want to go out? I said, no, I'm fine. I don't want to go out. I don't know. I don't. In my mind, I wanted to sit in the house, do a whole bundle. That was my last bundle. I wanted to do the whole thing. She still doesn't know I'm using. Did exactly what I said I was going to do. She gets off work early, and that is the end of my story because when she got off work and she got in the house and she got to the bathroom and she saw me butt ass naked on the bathroom floor, sleep because I had slipped, because I nodded out. What in my right high mind told myself that it was okay to take a shower while I was doped up? I have no clue, but I did, and I paid for it because, yeah, the bundle was sitting on the toilet. Out of the 14 bags that was in the bundle, I did 8, and the rest were still sitting on the toilet. She saw the bundles. She saw me. I was butt ass naked in the bathroom. The water was running still. The water was cold because I had ran all the hot water out. I had to have been in the bathroom knocked out for like a good hour at least, at minimum, a good hour. Had to. Boom, she wakes me up. I look around. I see the dope sitting on the toilet. She's standing there. She is crying her ass off. Really cute, really cute, really cute, really cute, really cute. I thought you said, I couldn't lie. I couldn't say, I didn't, your brother gave me that. I just held on to it for, I couldn't say none of that. Everything that was possibly trying to come to my head as quick as possible, I could not allow myself to say because she was already caught me. Sorry, I almost just slipped up and said her name. Um, I said, look, the fact of the matter is you're an amazing woman. You deserve an amazing guy. If we would have met previous in life, I definitely could have and would have been that guy. If we were to meet in the future, after I get myself together and get myself situated, I definitely could see myself being that guy. Right now, the way that we met, how we met, under the circumstances that we met, I'm definitely not capable of being that guy until I find myself and get myself together. That's as real as I can be. I apologize for making you feel like I was somebody that I'm not, although the person that you was with intimately is a person who I really am, although the person that you was with emotionally is the person who I really am. I also am a spiritual person. You didn't get to see that person. I also am a family person. You didn't get to see that person because I was so focused on trying to hide stuff from you. And this was the end result. I knew that you would find out at some point, whether I told you or whether you found out on your own. I'm not a person that can keep lying to someone over and over and over and over without tripping up because I'm an honest person by nature. I apologize. I will apologize to your mother. Your brother already knows. Clearly. She says, were you? I say, yes, I was. I already know what you're going to ask. Yes, I was. As soon as I met him, he knew from jump. He made it known, and that's why me and him became best friends, not anything else. So your answer to your question was yes, I was. I'm sorry that it had to happen on my birthday. I apologize. I promise you within the next 24 hours, I will be going to go work on myself to go get help. Her next response was, are you? I said, look, I already have had it in the works. I've had too many opportunities. I've had too many chances to get it together. I'm at rock bottom. I'm at wit's end. So I don't have any other options but to go get it together. And it's almost like I just seen her responses. I knew her responses. I knew her faces. When she made the next face, she was like, well, if you are definitely going to, she's like, I love you that much. I will wait. I will be there when you get out. I was like, no, I'm going to leave. And I don't want you to wait. I want you to go get someone while I'm out or while I'm in rehab, while I'm getting myself together. Because I have no clue how long I'm going to be there. I have no clue how long it's going to take me to get right. And if you meet your Prince Charming tomorrow, you deserve to have him. And I would be a horrible guy to make you wait for me to get yourself what you've been looking for the last couple years in your life, which you've been prepping for your whole life ever since you figured out what love was. That would be totally unfair. of me. Very next day, I did exactly what I said I was going to. Walked into the rehab. Those 7 bags still were unused to this day. Those 7 bags are still in a safe place where I know where they are, and I can look at them anytime that I have troubling issues, anytime that I have trigger warnings, anytime that I want to remember what I've been through, anytime that I want to remember homelessness, anytime that I want to remember my homeboy, anytime I want to remember the laundromat, anytime I want to remember the hotel, anytime I want to remember how bad I did my grandmother by lying to her or manipulating her, anytime I want to remember what I did at the barbershop to manipulate my customers and or to tell them I wasn't this, I wasn't that, in denial, I look at those 7 bags. And even though those 7 bags still sit there, ready and accessible to me to this day, I have still yet to use, and I've been 7 years strong. And on the 19th of January, I'll be celebrating the beginning of my 8th year. This is the conclusion of my homelessness story. I hope that it's been a good one. It's a very passionate one for me. It's one that I have troubles getting through and talking about. It's one that's very powerful to me solely because I lost what was my best friend. It took me a really long time to gain my grandmother's trust. It took me a really long time to find myself. It took me a really long time to forgive myself for taking advantage of a female, especially the way that I cherish women that walk the face of the earth that are created by God for men like myself that praise and cherish women. I hope that I taught somebody something. I hope that somebody learned something. I hope that you guys were not bored with the story. I know that I will be coming back with the volume 5 for you guys very, very shortly. I apologize for the delays in between. Do want to go ahead and give my shout outs before I get out of here. Got 8 shout outs tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get through them. Got my number 8 shout out going to Miss Thelma Anderson. Thank you very much, Miss Thelma Anderson. She's been commenting on my posts. She was gone for a while. She's come back. She's been active on the channel. She's posted in like 3 of the last uploads that I got. Just wanted to say thank you to Miss Thelma Anderson. My number 7 shout out is my homeboy T from the D. I have no clue what's going on with him. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days and weeks now. He was very active on my page. I connected with him very, very well. I did get an opportunity to see that he said that he was going through something. He was also talking about going to detox or going to rehab, going through detox and potentially going to rehab. If he did so, please keep him in y'all's prayers. Please. I pray for him every single day. He's an amazing young gentleman, just like myself. He's pretty powerful. He says really powerful stuff. He has a channel. Go check out his channel. That's my homeboy T from the D. Just show him love, praise him, keep him in your prayers. My number 6 shout out goes out to my homegirl Marcy Darcy. For a while, I'd seen that Marcy had, a couple things that people was fluctuating her name a little bit into this and into that, throwing it around where it shouldn't have been thrown around. I just wanted to be the person to say, regardless on what people say about whoever, I know Angie had thrown her name around, recklessly a couple of times. And I had to point that out to her so therefore she could go figure that out. I think Marcy was getting a little bit discouraged, and I just wanted to tell her, like, yo, over here on this channel, on the official QdAbArBeR channel, we're about positivity over here. So if you want to be a part of a positive family, stick with us. I can't stop anybody from going to any channel, and I support a lot of channels. But at the end of the day, I know that my channel is ran by me. I only run it one way, and it's the right way. So I do rock with Marcy. I support Marcy. I hope Marcy sticks around. I hope Marcy stays active. She's popped back up on the scene. She's been active in the comments, so I do praise her and thank her for that. My number 5 shout out is going to a old friend of mine who I've been trying my hardest to mend bridges and fix broken bridges with. My number 5 shout out goes to Kimmy and Marky. So my homegirl Kimmy was introduced to me through Angie Reacts. Me and Angie Reacts did not see eye to eye. Angie put a lot of negative stuff on my name. Some people fell for it, and I think that Kimmy was in that loop. Since then, I gave it time, let it breathe. I popped back on the scene where I was supported and where I was appreciated and where I was welcome. Um, Here recently, Kimmy has reached out a few times, spoke, been cordial. So I took the initiative to try to apologize several times, just letting her know that she got the wrong impression of me. And from a person that I spoke with, I connected with, we had a really, really powerful conversation. We have a lot of things in common. I really, really hope that me and Kimmy can get back on track to the positive friendship that we had in the beginning, because I think that we could do powerful things together, um, as opposed to being apart in this YouTube content creator world. So my number 5 shout out is going to Kimmy and Marky. My number 4 shout out is going to my old faithful, Miss Sharon V. Still keep her in y'all prayers. She's still got her shoulder issue. Her shoulder has been healed from the dislocated socket portion, but she does have a surgery coming up. Um, I guess with the bone person or whatever, just to see what they're gonna do with the actual, I think, rotator cuff that's going on with the actual shoulder. So keep her in y'all's prayers. Definitely send the prayer warriors up for Sharon as far as trying to get her back on track into rehab, trying to see if we can get her to go back and or start over and actually complete the program. I'm not sure whether she's using, I'm not sure whether she's not using. Either way, I don't judge her, because unlike some people out here in this YouTube world, at least Sharon took the initiative to go. At least she took the initiative to go. She stayed more than 24 hours. She made an attempt. That's better than some other people that just say, hell no, it's not for me. Or I'll go on my own will, or I'll go when I get ready, or I'm almost ready, or I'm not there yet. At least Sharon made the attempt. And because she makes the attempt, and she's made the attempt more than once, she's okay in my book because at least she's trying to better herself. The first time she didn't make it one day, the second time she made it a week. So there's progresses, there's levels to rehab, there's levels to sobriety. So I definitely rock with Sharon. She's my number 4 shout out. My number 3 shout out is my homegirl Pink Moji. Pink Moji and We Out. That's my girl, y'all. Y'all need to go check out her channel. So my homegirl Pink Moji, she's got this channel. Go check her out. She has an avatar that's a little pretty little teenage looking, young adult looking pink emoji type figure. Um, and she talks about world issues. She talks about awareness. She talks about facts. She talks about enabling. She shows video clips. She gives personal opinions. She gives factuated opinions. She does it in a very reality based form. She does it in a very positive manner. The reason why I rock with Pink Moji so much is because Pink Moji is one of those type of people that if she is incorrect, she does not mind stating that she's incorrect and apologizing for being incorrect and correcting the situation. A person that can correct their wrongs and still be positive and still continue to press forward with addressing those issues to resolve conflict. I rock with people like that all day, every day. So, y'all, please, I beg you, if you have not checked out Pink Moji, go check her out. Blow up her page. Look, I don't have to have 1,000, a million, or 1 trillion subscribers as we see on the new YouTube homepage. YouTube's made 1 trillion views. I don't need 1 trillion subscribers. I don't even need 1,000. If I don't ever get to 1,000, I'll still be fine. As long as my people's pages blow up and continue to be successful, I feel like I'm a part of that group. I feel like I'm a active part of their chats, active part of their comments. So I feel like when they succeed, I succeed. My numbers may not be up there, but I definitely rock with theirs. So I definitely am a big factor in supporting and shouting them out just like I'm doing now and sharing their pages and blowing up their chats and their comments. So I definitely rock with my number 3. I will always and forever. Pink Moji had been showing up actively in the comments these last couple uploads, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very much. I still rock with you. I always will rock with you. If y'all have not checked her out, once again, please check out Pink Moji. My number 2 shout out, Miss Greta G. So Miss Greta G was there with me in the beginning. Miss Greta G is a person that's kind of just like me. She subscribed and then she went MIA. She's behind the scenes. She pays attention to everything that you do. She may not comment on anything that you do for a while, and then out of nowhere, she just pops up and starts flooding your comments. For that, I want to say thank you very, very, very much for making yourself known, Miss Greta. It's because you've made yourself known. It's motivated me to post even more. It's motivated me to get back active. It's motivated me to keep being consistent because you showed your face. You came from behind the door. You opened up the closet. You didn't stay trapped inside the closet. You made yourself known. When people make themselves known, I appreciate it because I know that there's somebody out there that's watching me. When you make yourself known, I can thank you for it, just like I'm doing now. So my number two shout out is Miss Greta G. Thank you very much. And my number one, my all time, my new ace, my road dog. Is she rocking? I'm rolling. I swear to God, I'll take a bullet for her all day, every day, any day. If you're gonna shoot her, you may as well point the gun my way. My homegirl Belinda. If y'all have not checked out Belinda's channel, listen, y'all. Belinda says she's 50 years old or she about to be 50. I think that's a damn lie, but we're gonna go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt. But I'm still fitting the ID check her as soon as I meet up with her. But if y'all have not checked out Miss Belinda's channel, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all now. Y'all like makeup? If y'all women like makeup, if y'all like sexy, beautiful, mature females that like makeup and put on makeup and enjoy doing makeup tutorials and watching other people dress up and be damn near flawless, giving you the reviews on the products that are out here, showing you how to do your eyebrows, how to do your beats, how to do your face, how to do your blends, how to do your shadows, how to plug this, how to extract that, how to do all of these things. I'm telling y'all, y'all need to go check out my homegirl Belinda channel. All you gotta do is look it up, Belinda BelindaMua. It'll pull you right up to her channel. Please subscribe. Please click the post notification. Please share her page. Get her jumping. Flood her comments. I flood every comment, every video. I will continue to do so until the day I die. Ever since she's been introduced into my life, she's been a really, really, really dope, positive individual, and she's been super consistent. And I need people like that around me in my life. So, yeah, for that, I'm forever grateful. So, she's definitely my number one shout out for this volume, which is volume 4. So, once again, I want to thank y'all very, very, very much for rocking with me for these 2 hours. I gave y'all 2 hours of real raw story time. I really hope it wasn't boring. I really hope it was interesting. I really hope y'all learned something. I really hope y'all heard the message. I really hope you heard the story. I really hope you took something from it. My volume 4, I think, is going to go in a different light because I'm going to talk about how I feel about certain situations that are occurring. So I definitely think that you guys are going to want to be active for that. Um, yeah, so I definitely pray and hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I definitely hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your holidays. For those of you all that I don't see before the New Year's, I definitely want to say Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you. I will be posting every day all the way up until Christmas as well as New Year's. I will still continue to do my thing. I will still continue to ask you guys each and every single time if you have a few extra dollars and you can donate it to the channel. Please do so. The Cash App is listed. The Cash App is also listed on this live stream and the ticker that's going across the screen at the bottom. I have a shop Cash App as well as I have a personal Cash App. I use the shop Cash App for the nonprofit that I have, which is the AAA, which is the Army Against Addiction. We use that for homelessness. That's in Central Virginia. And then I have the personal Cashapp, which is for camera equipment and editing software. And I actually need to get a laptop, so therefore I can actually the pictures and stuff that I load up on my channel, I need somewhere to put that. I don't have a file or any type of drive to save it on. So my phone's at 98% memory full, so I need to get a computer. um, I pray every single day to be able to get so, but until I get that, I will still continue to do it the way that I've been doing it. So yeah, I'm not a person that gets out here and begs for anything. I find a way somehow, some way somehow. But until then, yeah, I do ask you guys if you have the extra, if everybody gives $1 or if everybody has $2 or $3 to give, I'll be able to get it and you'll be able to see the change instantly because I know how to do it. I just don't have the equipment to do it. Neither here nor there. I'm going to wrap it up right now. I thank you guys for kicking it with me. I thank you guys for cutting up with QdAbArBeR. I thank you guys for rocking with me, for subscribing to the page, for giving me a chance to get my story. And I just want to leave y'all like I always do. Through talent and testimony, I strive to change lives one haircut at a time. QdAbArBeR, I'm out, y'all.
Y'all, it's sad out here. It's everywhere, y'all. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I offered her some pizza this morning. I hope she's okay. Army Against Addiction.